Hey, everybody. Well, thank you so much again for coming today. My name is Shannahn McInnis, and I'm a researcher at CRISPESH.
My name is Gosselin. Thank you everyone for being there. I work for the First Nations Human Resources Development Commission of Quebec.
Okay, so today's presentation, we know that not everybody was able to make it to the first presentation, so we're going to give a really quick overview just about our partnership together, the 3 projects that we carried out together, and again, a really quick overview of the findings from those projects. And then we're going to get to what everybody's interested in, which is how we approach the knowledge transfer with these projects and the tools that we created. We did create a list of tools, and today we'll just give a specific focus on one tool. So our partnership, our main partnership is between CRISPESH and Fnhrdcq. CRISPESH is a CCTT, which focuses on the professional and social inclusion for people with disabilities.
The First Nations Human Resources Development Commission of Quebec has as mission to assist First Nations in finding employment and entering the labor market through employment and training opportunities. So this is very broad because we could receive a client who's encountering major obstacles and lead the client all the way through different steps that will lead to long-term labor market integration. The map that we have here is a map that represents the communities that are part of our organization. Most of the communities from the Algonquin territory to the Innu territory. However, the Cree and the Inuit and the Atsikimek also have the same agreement where they accomplish the same work that we do. And so, as mentioned, we are an organization at the Fnhrdcq that works with clients who need assistance in finding long-term employment. Now, some time ago, however, we felt that we were doing a lot of progress in helping people with major obstacles. However, there was very little work done regarding First Nations persons living with a disability. So we conducted an internal research, a study, and we spoke with the frontline workers, with the employment counselors, for example, and their response was that regarding clients living with a disability, they found that in the communities there was a lack of jobs, little training to assist the frontline workers. We lacked financial resources to assist persons in joining the labor market with those with a disability. There was little or no community support, but that came from lack of understanding or maybe lack of knowledge. And then there was the lack of political will that maybe came from the fact that there are so many challenges regarding housing. There are so many things to take care of at the local level that there seems we risk sometimes forgetting about persons with disabilities. And so together we worked on an action plan at the Fnhrdcq, and the strategies that are listed here come from the people in the community. So they told us that they needed more awareness and sensitization for the community. They also asked for more training at the community level, at the regional office level, to have more training and assisting and understanding and assisting persons living with a disability, and to eventually develop pre-employment services where we will prepare together the people to begin training or employment strategies. And with CRISPESH, we had mentioned this previously, but with CRISPESH, we had developed 3 project proposals. They were accepted. This was back in 2018. And so having these 3 projects accepted, restoring the social role of persons with disability, development of a digital training tool, supporting professional inclusion for First Nations persons living with a disability. They enabled us, they gave us the means and the tools to begin responding to that strategy, the action plan that we had previously elaborated. Now, once we were able to carry out those 3 projects, we continued our consultation. But now what these projects gave us the opportunity to do was that we continued to speak with the frontline workers, with the employment counselors, for example, or the coordinators, the directors of the local teams. But we also took the time, we had the opportunity with the assistance of the local frontline workers, we were able to go into the communities and speak with people from various backgrounds who are living with a disability, and again, different types of disabilities. So we spoke with them, and this is a summary of the common themes that we heard, and then that we gave back as a message to the communities. For example, there is a problem. There is not enough information on disabilities. And because of this lack of information, this leads to stigma, sometimes bullying and harassment. Persons with disabilities also want more information so that they could be better informed and become self-advocates. This is empowering. Now, it's always also to reduce stigma, to be more included, because we will see as we go along in our research and in this presentation that sometimes the message that is thrown is that, well, persons with disabilities can't work. So we have to work on this stigma. The message also was that in communities, those who came from, those who were alone, who did not have a family network to count on, they were the most vulnerable. And so they were the ones who are asking for a stronger network with a sense of belonging, and so that they could create a new network. And also in the community, we do not have the services that we find, for example, in urban areas, such as adapted transportation. Some remote communities are far from the hospitals where rehabilitation or therapy is offered. And so what we see happening, for example, is that parents with young children living with a disability are going to move to the city to be able to offer those services. But what the people in the community are saying is that they would love to stay, they would like to continue staying at home, but they would need more services regarding transportation, therapies, and rehabilitation. And so following these consultations, we looked at, with the collaboration of CRISPESH, we looked at what was the knowledge that should be transferred. We had the Indigenous disability awareness that was coming from the people themselves, because we had spoken to them, and so we were returning the message or the messages that we had received. In those, when we were ourselves becoming aware of this reality, we also discovered factors that brought out the intersectionality for first persons living with a disability. We will look at this a little bit more, but briefly what we could say is that people are living, First Nations living with a disability are living with the stigma that surrounds disability, but it also, they encounter stigma that's attached to First Nations. We are hearing a lot lately about systemic racism. So that could have an impact as well as on the services that they receive or on the quality of the services that they receive. Now, we have the message that we received from First Nations, but then there's also the message or the information that the broader information that we hear regarding best practices in supporting professional and social inclusion. These best practices are attached to accessibility, self-advocacy, self-determination, and employment for First Nations persons with a disability. We'll be looking at this a little bit more in the upcoming slides as well. And so again, this is the message that we are sending through the awareness campaign. So what is disability? Why is disability awareness important to the community? Well, we want to go further. We want to remove as much as we can the obstacles that people encounter. And we understand obstacles because we're working with obstacles on a daily basis. And some of those obstacles we didn't know at the time, maybe had to do with a disability. But so we saw some, and we'll go back into this later, but this is to say that we have to continue. We want to remove obstacles to encourage everyone to become what they want to become regarding labor market integration. The second factor here is, what are the main obstacles? Well, there are two misbeliefs. One that indicates that a lot of people associate disability with a visible disability. For example, there has to be a wheelchair or there has to be a cane for that person to be part of the disability community. And because of these disabilities, of these visible disabilities, that renders them incapable of working or living independently. So it's going to be an interesting but challenging mission or intention to overcome and to change this way of thinking, because it's been instilled for a long time now. And what problem is your campaign going to focus on? Okay, well then we're going to send a message again. We will be speaking of the interaction between a person's environment and the disability that the person is living with, whether it's a visible or non-visible disability. The message also that we will be sending is that a person with a disability is a strong, motivated, independent person and who has a lot to offer to the community and to the workplace. Now, this could seem like a basic message, but when people start talking about that at the community level, whether it's in workshops, whether it's amongst the teams who are in the labor market integration, or whether it's with the band council, there's also a lot of thinking that's taking place and a lot of solution finding. So these are broad questions, but have room for input from everyone, and that opens to new roads. And there are six major types of disability. They're listed here: developmental, learning, physical, mental health, sensory, and chronic disease. This is important because we are also integrating into our message knowledge that is found elsewhere, basic knowledge that will enrich our understanding of First Nations persons living with a disability, and then where to find local and online resources for anyone who wants to know more, who wants to go further in their understanding.
Okay, and so the general goal of this awareness is to really stretch that current understanding and definition of disability. So it's much more broad, so that it's to provide a more ecological definition of disability that focuses on a condition and the interaction that a person with that condition has with their environment. And so this is our way of trying to overcome some of those misbeliefs and then the stigma that people were encountering because of those. And again, just more specifically, that there are 6 types of disabilities, and those include invisible as well as visible conditions. As well, the behaviors that we hope to promote in the people that are exposed to all of our training materials is really that people will be able to, First Nations people with disabilities will be able to recognize what type of disability that they have, especially if it's an invisible disability or a disability that people are not currently aware of. And the only purpose for that is so that they can find the supports that they require and that they're able to advocate for themselves. In addition to this, we hope that the support professionals and community members will also develop this sense of allyship with people that have disabilities, and that they will be ambassadors for this sort of inclusive campaign. And so, again, just the overall goal and hope of the awareness that we hope to provide is that there is an ecological definite disability that includes the environment, and that also includes conditions of difference, which can be visible or invisible. And so in the next slides, we want to just really quickly give you a little bit more information on the content, this knowledge that we hope to transfer. It's the same 3 categories that Roseanne just told you about, but we'll just explain a little bit where we're getting the content that we hope to share in our training tools and our awareness tools. So this indigenized definition of disability, so where we hope to pull that content from is from those ecological definitions of disability that we see from the World Health Organization or the local iLife integrated model of disability. So we hope to take those integrated models, which allow for a focus on the person and the way that they experience their condition, as well as the way that they have interactions in their environment. And we hope to frame all of that in the traditional understanding of the medicine wheel, and that this traditional understanding of living in balance, and that is the main goal for living in wellness. So we hope to take those integrated definitions of disability and then frame them within the Indigenous teachings of the medicine wheel. Also, we want to pull from our data that we collected, so those interviews that we did with people who had disabilities, so we can shine a spotlight on those barriers that they told us about, those things that they were encountering, as well as the facilitators that they told us about, so we can build upon what they told us were things that were very helpful to them in their everyday life. We also, of course, we want to focus on and shed light on those 6 types of disabilities, coming more from disability research. And we also want to build on the traditional values and knowledges in the community about the importance of inclusion and the importance of belonging. So we tend to frame most of our information with those traditional values. Regarding the intersectionality, so we do want to take the opportunity to try to destigmatize the mental health and the condition that people find themselves in when they are very far from the workplace. The way that we wanted to try to bring understanding is through using theories of risk and resilience, where we can provide a narrative that suggests that when individuals encounter multiple risk factors, that they are in fact more likely to find it more difficult to be resilient and to move forward. And that at the opposite end of that spectrum, that there is a narrative of hope that with protective factors being introduced into the environment, that people can in fact build upon the resilience that they have within them and get the volition and the motivation to be able to move forward. So we wanted to focus on that intersectionality and give voice to people when they explain to us their stories of encountering ableism, encountering racism, as well as dealing with their own conditions and the effects that they may feel from that. And we wanted to frame it within the theory of risk and resilience to provide understanding about why people are ending up far from the place that they might wish to be in their life, as well as to provide ideas for how to create protective factors and positive experiences in the lives of those people. We also wanted to provide resources and information regarding trauma, regarding ACEs, and the effect that trauma can have on a person's mental health, and early exposure to trauma and significant toxic stress factors, and the effect that those 2 things play in mental health development. And so as I just touched on a little bit, so we do want to give voice to the experiences of ableism. People explained to us, they told us often in their own words, stories of bullying or harassment or feeling ashamed or embarrassed about a disability. We wanted to give voice to the implications of the systemic racism that people experienced in the healthcare system and the impact that that had on disability and the understanding of disability. So in regards to getting a diagnosis, finding support and finding treatment, as well as just the general impact of that on wellness. And we also wanted to shine the spotlight and recognize the strength that people found and the resilience that people found in cultural belonging and in cultural healing practices.
Okay, so time is passing and we want to save time at the end to give you a demonstration of one of the deliverables. So I'll go through the following slides quite rapidly. So what we're saying really is that we're taking all the process from the beginning right until the end, where we will be presenting the results. All these various steps are done in collaboration with the First Nation community. For example, when we speak of ethics or data collection, we took into consideration the OCAP philosophy, the OCAP articles, which in OCAP stands for ownership, control, access, and possession of data for research that's done in a community. Because in the past, a lot of research had been done in communities, but now there is a negotiation that takes place. We receive the authorization to speak with the people, and it's done in collaboration with the people. And then the second section where we speak of a holistic model of disability, we're speaking of the biological, the environment aspects, but seen through the lens of Indigenous concepts of inclusion, wellness, and balance. Now, it's something that we're working towards, and this is important because many times we discover very interesting resources, good resources that are going to help us have an understanding of in different areas, but they don't really connect or speak out to the Indigenous people because it's not adapted. Government programs are also very relevant, but we have to continuously work towards adapting, applying it in an Indigenous area. So we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, and so here we're looking at diagnosis, the importance. This is something that we didn't always do in the past, but by having a better understanding, we're going to work towards diagnosis, finding the means and the methods to work with the clients to better support them where it's needed. And again, through our awareness strategy, we want everyone becomes an ambassador for social and professional inclusion. And so the message that is being given, that is being returned as a feedback to the communities is received, but also shared. And so we hope that then all these tools will have an impact through our partners, through the employment counselors, but will have an impact on the community, employers, again, band, chief and council, and so on. Okay, we'll move on. So to whom the research was research knowledge transferred? We already went through the first teams, number 1, 2, and 3. So who are we transferring this information? To the support professionals, or those are the employment counselors, for example. We also should mention that we work in the communities in partnership with income security agents who are under the umbrella of the Quebec First Nations Quebec and Labrador Health and Social Services Commission. We also work in collaboration with the First Nations and the School Council for First Nations Adult Education. And so these people are in the communities. They're working with the people. So they are our first First Nation contact people. And then those are the ones who are going to also be speaking and spreading the information that they will be receiving. We'll do it too as we can, but we're supporting the frontline workers. And so who will be transferring the knowledge? When CRISPESH and the Fnhrdcq started to work together, we established a core research team, and we worked together continuously. We met often, and we had our partners that we tried to keep in contact with as much as possible. And at the time, at the beginning, we had Marianne Bouchard was working here with us, and I'm mentioning her here because she's here with us today. So she was part of the interviews. Shannahn was there, and so we were a group, and we worked, and we continue to meet on a regular basis to carry out these 3 projects that we mentioned at the beginning. We're getting ready for the tool.
Yes. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left, and so probably not enough time to go into too much detail. But what we essentially did was we created a website. As I speak, I will hopefully go to the hyperlink. So the website essentially holds all of the deliverables. So all of the knowledge transfer that we're doing, there's a reference point, or there are tools on the website that holds. It's our container holding all of the knowledge transfer deliverables that we created. So essentially, good. Please bear with me here. It's all under construction, but what I wanted to do was to just show you the main structure of the website. So, and again, this visually will look very different when it's completely done. This is really the bare bones.
Shannahn? Excuse me, Shannahn.
Yes.
We don't see the website. Yeah.
Oh, do you see the PowerPoint?
We see the PowerPoint, not the website. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just stop the share and restart. Okay, so yes, as I was saying, this is just the bare bones of the website. It will look different when it's complete. But what I wanted to show you was that we actually, and we mentioned it quickly in our last presentation, we created our own logo to represent inclusion and understanding of disability. To present that indigenized definition of disability, we've created a whiteboard animation. So that's being developed as we speak, but it will be featured on our website on the first page. So the first thing is to really provide that indigenized definition of disability. We do dedicate 3 or 4 website pages to simply defining disability, what is it, and providing that ecological model. We also have web pages that are specifically for support clients. So trying to help people to feel comfortable to work with diversity, feeling comfortable to help support their clients through a process of maybe thinking about if they had a disability in their past, if that's relevant information, if moving forward in the workplace, they might need to consider, did they want to disclose a disability status, privacy versus accommodation, all of these big issues. But essentially all of the content regarding supporting clients is to provide a framework which promotes people to work with their clients as partners and to always be making decisions that the client is informed and feels empowered by the decision. We also feature in our Voices of the Communities section, we feature quotes from our interviews where we explain the barriers that people told us about, the facilitators, their experience, and we give voice to all the people that we spoke to. We also did video interviews with 5 different people from communities, and they told us about their experience, so we feature that. And then finally, under the toolbox, second to last, under the toolbox, we'll have a virtual library of resources, as well as an interactive map of support agencies that provide support to people with disabilities while looking for employment. And then finally, we have our training simulations, which are training tools that we created to support professionals in working with clients with disabilities, as well as to highlight the significance of risk and resilience. Again, so I'll click, we created this is, so one of the digital simulation tools that we created was in the format of a board game. And the purpose of the game is to really break down in a concrete and accessible way that concept of risk and resilience or intersectionality, and to really shed light on the different barriers and risk factors that people can experience along their path and how those can accumulate and how they can prevent people from having enough resilience to overcome obstacles in their lives. And so this tool has 4 different boards. It has little cards that pop up to provide examples of risk factors or protective factors, which come along with points. And so the person can begin to really explore this content and this notion of being in those intersectional situations where risk factors can really build up and protective factors can also lessen their impact. And then finally, don't have very long, but we created 5 interactive digital videos. So essentially, when you get to the home page of the videos, it looks like this. And there are 5 different scenarios that the user can choose from. So, and those are 5 different themes that we wanted to highlight and give people the chance to explore. So essentially, I've broken down the themes that are highlighted in each of the different videos. So in the first one, the character, we take the opportunity to use our character to highlight an example of a different type of a disability, as well as a different theme. So this character in the first scenario, he has autism, so he's showing a developmental disability. He is engaging in adult education, and the themes that we touch on in this video are inclusion, ableism, as well as privacy and disclosure surrounding disability status. In the second video, we decide to shed a light on mental health condition, obsessive compulsive disorder, and we tackle the themes of invisible disability and ableism. In the third scenario, our character has a learning disability, so we highlight dyslexia, and it's an undiagnosed disability. So we tackle issues around that, as well as adult education and employment support. The fourth character, she has a developmental disability, so she has Down syndrome, and we highlight issues surrounding the inclusive workplace, the charity model of disability, and an integrated model of disability. And our fifth and final character, he highlights mental health with addiction, and we also touch on community healing programs and community reintegration, as well as ableism surrounding mental health. And so when we were deciding on what type of video to make for these learning tools, we really wanted to ensure that we hired Indigenous artists to do the drawings. We decided to go with illustrations over real actors, just because we felt like it was difficult to have actors acting as they had disabilities. So we went with animation to be more sensitive in that way. And we did have a voice actress who had Down syndrome, as well as all of our voice actors came from different communities across the province. So they represent those accents from different nations. And so each of our training simulations, they start with a background where you read about the person and you read about their life and you begin to understand what brought them to the place of the scenario that you will be viewing. And then in the videos, there's a setup video that plays, and each video that you watch has an objective. So the setup video happens and the support professional will click on what would you do? And then 3 different options are presented to them, and they get to watch the video of the option, they get to watch it play out, and then they get to see what would be the result of that action. So very quickly, I'll scroll through. So for this particular scenario, our users will choose between send the client for an assessment, send the client for a literacy training program, take a scaffolding approach. And so each one of those that they click on will have a corresponding video that will show what would happen if that's if that's the decision that they made, and what would the implication to the character be. So it is 12:45, so we don't have time to actually click on one of these little videos to watch it through. But I'll just scroll through the slide so you can see each of those options that the person could click would have had a corresponding video, as well as then a conclusion to show you what would happen. And all of these will be featured on the website when the website goes live in a few weeks. And then we would welcome anybody and everybody to have a look and explore them. And if anybody had any questions or feedback for us, we'd be super happy to engage.
Shannahn, I think several people would like to at least see one video. So
Yeah,
if you could
sure.
show one, I think
My pleasure.
Very happy.
Absolutely. Great. Okay, just excuse me because I want to make sure that I let you hear the volume.
Okay, meanwhile, while you're getting prepared, Shannahn, I would just like to mention before we forget that we will be having an event to launch all these tools. And once the launch takes place, all these tools will be on the website, and the website will be functioning as well. So we will keep you informed.
So here's the video for the third choice that the person could make.
Hey Denise, thank you for getting Sarah for me.
No problem. Kira asked if they could play together on the playground for a bit.
I was running late for my appointment with Paul down at the Employment and Training office.
Oh, I didn't know you were looking for work.
Well, yeah. We've been working together for a little while now. It looks like I'm actually going to be going back to finish my high school and work part-time.
Oh, wow, that sounds like a lot, no?
It is. But I have like a few people working with me to make sure it doesn't get to be too much and to help me through. And I will have a lot more options for work after I have my high school.
Wow, that sounds really awesome. You seem happy. I'm glad for you. Let me know if you need any help along the way. You know I'm always here.
So that's just one clip out of multiple clips. And then afterwards, after the video plays, you click the afterwards button and explains sort of how it played out for the character. For all of the little blurbs of text that we also have recorded and narrated in both English and in French. The tool itself also is completely bilingual and you can choose your language. And so we had voice actors, both English and French, record everything. So I would welcome if anybody had any questions or.
Okay, great. So I don't know if anyone has question. I know that a lot of people were asking when the website will be available. It's a question that we saw a lot in the chat. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, Roseanne, do you know if we finally found a good date for our website launch?
We're looking at mid-March.
So mid-March is when we'll have a launch, which I think is open and that we'd like to invite people to. And we'll launch the tool, and then as of that date, it'll be up and on the internet.
And part of, we were speaking of the knowledge transfer. So these tools are going to be part eventually of a training that we will be offering to the frontline workers in the communities. And again, there's always like a follow-up in the sense that those tools become an awareness tool, but they also have an impact on awareness, where it's like a chain that follows and more awareness will take place.
Great, thanks, Roseanne. I didn't see any other question in the chat, but if you have one, you can raise your hand or just signal yourself through the chat or through the blue hand. Oh, I can see that Nayo Gariepi has a question. So
hey, thank you. And thank you so much for the great presentation, the great initiative. This is mind-blowing. I wanted to know, you said you were going to be offering some training and some partnerships with some career advisors. How can we stay up to date, and in which option, or how can we collaborate in any point? I just love everything that you've been talking about. Impressive.
Thank you so much. Roseanne, did you want to?
Well, we are going to begin with the launch because then the launch is going to be geared towards a broader audience. And then we're going to start looking at strategies on how we will be doing the training. Now we will have to look at the training that will be given in French, given in English. How will we promote it, and how many people could be part of each session? So those are things that we will be looking at. But I thank you for your question, because this opens the door to more partnerships, in the sense that we are looking at training for the frontline workers in the communities who will be able to transmit at their level the information that they're receiving in terms of awareness and sensitization, and in working with their clients. But now you've opened in a way the door to how could we work with more partners in giving this message, and who are the partners who will be interested in receiving this message? Partners who are not necessarily First Nations, but who are interested in working with First Nations in schools, employers, and elsewhere. So it's something that interests us, and it's something that we're going to be looking into, I'm sure.
Fantastic. I'll be there waiting to hear from you guys. Thanks so much.
I would say don't hesitate to send an email, so then we can start to have our little network. We can start to have our contacts. So don't hesitate, don't be shy. We'd love to talk more about it.
And partnerships are very important to us. For example, as we were developing these tools, CRISPESH and Fnhrdcq created a partnership, but we also had Indigenous organizations working with us. For example, here with us, we have today Rola Hilu, who was director of the School Council for First Nations Adult Education. There's also Mr. Raphael Tetro, who's from the Health and Social Services Commission, whose regional office is in Wendake. So their support was also helped us along the way for continuous feedback. And we hope to also continue to receive their feedback for the upcoming steps.
So thank you, Roseanne. Maybe if nobody has asked question, maybe we still have 4 to 5 minutes. So if you could play the videos that you didn't have the time to
Sure.
to run, maybe it could be interesting.
Absolutely. Would you like to see a little bit of the game, or would you like to see another video? Whoever says it first.
Yeah. tell us in the chat what you would like to see. So the board game or the videos? Oh,
game. Ah, perfect. Thank you.
As we wait for Shannahn to prepare the game, I would just we're going to have to look into a way to continue communicating with each other. Now, Pauline has your email addresses. Is that a way? We would have to speak with Rock as well to find a way of keeping contact and keeping those who are interested up to date on the launch and the trainings that will be taking place. I would also like to mention briefly that Nisi Dotam, which is our slogan, means I understand. It's an Algonquin word. We have this word in all the other languages of First Nations in Quebec. And why we opted for this word is that we're always striving, working towards a better understanding. We never have it once and for all. But we're working towards it, and we're working towards it together.
So Shannahn, did you manage to find the game?
Here it comes, I think. Here we go. You see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, super. So we have our introduction, which gives a really brief and hopefully accessible explanation about the concept of risk and resilience or intersectionality. You can click next, you can enter your name, you can have many different players, and then you select which board. So each board has a theme. This is the youth path, so it talks about different risk and protective factors that came. Actually, so what we did was we did an analysis of different papers, different research papers, and we collected a list of risk and resilience factors that were listed across many different domains of research. Then we scanned our research, our interview data to get examples of those types of risk and resilience factors. And so a disclaimer regarding the game is that it's not a game. This is a learning tool. And we used really sensitive information from our data that came from our interviews that people told us about in their own life, lived experiences. So built right into the website, and also that will pop up in front of the game, is a trigger warning, because we do talk about sensitive material that could in fact have people triggered. And this really is, the purpose of this is not to have a fun time and sit around and play a game, but it really is to learn about the complexity about the way that things interact. So I'm giving you a very brief trigger warning that there can be quite complex material that we introduce. And so each path has a different theme. This one is the person chooses to stay in the community or leave. The next theme is if the person chooses to get a diagnosis or not get a diagnosis. And the fourth path is the person works in an inclusive employment setting or the person does not work in an inclusive employment setting. I might go back to the inclusion path. So essentially we launched the tool and it begins. So these are life event cards, and they can be equally, your chances are 50-50 that they'll be positive or negative. So here is a negative event. So I'll close the card, and you can see at the top of the board, those are my resilience points. So I'm on my life path, and these resilience points will change as I encounter risk factors or protective factors. Sorry, I'm not sure if the display's okay. So a disability awareness campaign increases supportive attitudes at the points there. And so essentially the person plays through the board. Here I had a positive protective factor, so it'll affect my resilience point. And so we included content regarding traditional healing or wellness practices that people also told us throughout our interview data. And so at this point, you pick a path. You could get a diagnosis or you can not get a diagnosis. And so with each path option, we didn't want to make a good path and a bad path. We didn't want to say you should definitely get a diagnosis. If you do, you'll do better. Both paths have the equal number. If you notice, the red diamonds are risk factors or positive life events, negative life events, and the green diamonds are positive life events. And both paths have the same number. And the turtle cards are life events, and again, 50-50 if you get positive or negative. So we never try to encourage one path over another path, but simply to just highlight that there are paths that you can choose and you have those options. If I just click a path, I continue on my way. That's actually a roll again, sorry. We're meeting with the programmer today to do those last glitches. So I get a card again. I'm going really quick. You can see that this is one of those sort of heavier content cards. So we do talk about past traumas, meeting a therapist, finding a good and appropriate supports that make you feel like make them positively move forward. I should just say, so yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. So maybe
Yeah.
if you want to show a last feature of the game, we could finish that. And
Okay, I'll try to roll quickly through if I can get to that last point. Anyway, the purpose is when you get to that last, you'll see right here there's an obstacle. It's a bigger life event that is an obstacle that you have to overcome. And so the purpose is that if you do not have enough resilience points over here based on the path that you chose, you will not have enough resilience to overcome that obstacle. And so what happens Okay, here it is. So here we chose the death of a close relative. So it was an unexpected death. So this is a major life obstacle, and you need to have enough resilience to be able to continue moving forward, propelling along on your path to get over that obstacle. If you do not have enough resilience, then you return to the keep trying tile, which is back here. And if this happens more than, so if it happens twice, you go back to keep trying. If it happens 3 times, then the message comes to say, you've had too many risk factors and you're going to need support. You can't do this alone anymore. So here are Lifeline cards. And so we provide 4 Lifeline cards for people to choose from, that they can go to the bush for traditional wellness group, or they could go get therapy or treatment. And so 4 Lifeline cards come and you choose one. And then it says that with the support of another, you've now regained enough resilience to continue on your path, and you can overcome the obstacle and go to the next path. So that's sort of how it's all set up.
Well, thank you very well, Shannahn. That's really a great tool. I think a lot of people are really eager to try it. So we are really waiting to be in March to be able to try the website. Maybe you can stop your sharing your screen. I'm going to share mine to close the conference. So thanks again, Shannahn and Roseanne. That was really a great talk, and I think everybody here agrees to see that to say that it's a great work that you accomplished here. And I would like also to thank you other people who were involved in the organization of this conference. And especially the people who took care of the translation and the transcription today. So we had different people doing this work today. Also, I would like to thank all the CRISPESH team who helped me in many ways to set the conference. And finally, I would like to, as I said, at the beginning of the conference, we are holding a conference every first Wednesday of the month. So next one is on March 3rd, and it's going to be in French, but there will be simultaneous interpretation in English. So if you don't understand French, sorry, it's not a problem. It's going to be on the COVID situation, on students with disability from colleges. So if you're interested in that topics, I would invite you to register for the conference. So that's all for what I wanted to say. I'm leaving you with telling you to spend a good rest of your day, and see you soon, maybe, and take care of you. Thanks again, Shannahn.
Thank you.
And Roseanne.